Hey guys, it's RJ or Tobias back with another podcast video. Today, the controversial subject we shall be discussing on the menu is sexuality. Now, tied in with this, I'm going to be discussing different romantic interests and how, I'm just going to be trying to explain a bit of that for anybody who's a bit confused or you feel like it's way over your head and you don't get any of it. I mean, yeah, it can be a bit confusing. Just don't instantly try to fit yourself into a category that might not seem comfortable. Like, you don't, this is not something you need to fit into. This is not something that's required of you to identify yourself, to be part of the crowd. Just, I don't know, be who you are. It's just, yeah. And yes, there's been lots of controversy over this. There's been lots of protests and laws and pride parades to celebrate everything. And yes, I was quite happy when they passed the law for gay marriage to be legalized. Not like um and um so my opinion of it is we shouldn't be the ones to judge others. Like, that's not our place in the world. I come from a church, um a Christian church, where it's not our place to judge. We are not the ones who are supposed to be judgmental, saying, "Oh, you are this, you don't belong. You're doing this wrong." Just even that is out of place. It's not our job to do that. Um and I'm glad my church is supportive of this kind of stuff. Uh they've helped in the recent pride parades that's how happened in my hometown and other stuff. So, how my parents deal with it, they try to be supportive. Well, at least my dad is, and I'm very happy about that. So, like, even my dad actually took me to the pride parade that happened in my town earlier in June. My mom isn't as supportive as I'd like, but we'll work on her. Now, if you don't feel that your parents are supportive of you, or you haven't come out to them, you're scared of what they'll think. I like this. One of my catchphrases is, "You can always do something once." Like, you can always, I don't know, jump off a cliff once. You can always go skydiving at least once. You can always do something at least one time. Yeah. So go ahead, try. Don't be afraid. And if they do judge you for it, just know that you are being true to who you are, and it's just all of us in the LGBTQ plus community are very proud of you. If you do come out, if you don't, that's still fine. No pressure. Honestly, don't feel pressured to do anything. Um, Sexuality versus romantic interests. Now, sexuality is like, okay, straightforward. It's who you feel like, who you would like to bang with, that kind of stuff. Romantic is more go out on dates, hold hands, kiss, that kind of stuff. Mushy gushy old movie romance, yeah, you know that. So that's kind of the difference, is basically who you'd bang with or who you'd go out on a date with. The two can like combine, but it happens, I guess. I wouldn't know for sure. I'm not very out there in the dating world, so where I fall on the LGBTQ plus sexuality and romantic scale, I identify as demi uh ugh, demisexual and biromantic. So the majority, like the most commonly known sexualities, well, let's start with the most common, like what everybody, most homophobes are. Heterosexual. I'm sure we all know what that is. It's basically being straight, meaning male and female or female and male. That's how it usually, like, that's what straight is. Being homosexual is being like you like the same gender, like guys with guys, females with females. The terms that are preferred, like the terms that I know, is like gay for guys and then lesbian for females if they prefer that. Sometimes being like, the gay pride flag is usually umbrella, like all of that. Um, Being biromantic is you like both your gender and the opposite. You like both guys and girls. Being pansexual, the definition I found, because I know what it is, but a person who has the capacity to form enduring physical, romantic, or emotional attractions to any person, regardless of gender identity. Pansexual people need not have any specific sexual experiences before to be pansexual. In fact, they need not have any sexual experience at all to identify as pansexual. I know that makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense to me either. Just accept it. Being queer, an adjective used by some people, particularly younger people whose sexual orientation is not exclusively heterosexual. Um, Sometimes, for those who identify as queer, the terms lesbian, gay, and bisexual are perceived to be too limiting or fraught with the cultural connotations they don't feel apply to them. Definitions. And then there's polysexual. This one isn't as commonly known, but I know a few people who are polysexual. It's very similar to pansexuality, but while pansexuals are attracted to all genders and sexes, polysexuals are attracted to some but not all. For example, a polysexual person may be attracted to most people regardless, but is uncomfortable with the idea of being with girls. Like, that's just an example. Like, don't take this too literally. um, for a while, I identified as asexual, commonly known as ace. If that means you don't feel any sexual desire at all. You don't want sexual intercourse, I could say. You just don't like anyone like that. Um, and then the minority, like the least commonly known people, like sexualities, grace sexual. It kind of falls under the category of ace, but it's someone who experiences occasional and or mild sexual attraction. They may act on it, they may not. It's kind of muted, I guess. That's not a video game reference. Don't yell at me, please. Demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in but by no means confined in romantic relationships. Being demisexual means there are different things to different people depending on their experiences. And cupiosexual, I think it's called, is a subset of asexual. It is used to describe asexuals, people who never experience sexual attraction, but who still desire a sexual relationship. Cupio romantic is a subset of aromantic. We'll get onto that later. There are way too many sexualities to elaborate on, and I'm not going to go too deep, so let's just move on to romantic interests. Dang, this is going to be a very long video or podcast thing. I doubt anyone actually listens. Okay, who you like as in romantically is like romance. As in, you'd kiss them, you'd date them, you'd hold their hands, but you would not fuck them. I'm trying to homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, pansexual, polysexual. Basically, instead of liking someone sexually, like wanting to have a sexual relationship with them, you want to have more of a romantic relationship with them. Meaning, like you like the same gender. For homosexual, like you'd go on a date with them. Um, Disclaimer, you can like someone romantically and not sexually and still have a good relationship as long as you keep communication the key thing. Then there's aromantic. That is something I've heard commonly. You don't feel like romantic attraction to people. You can be arrow ace, where you just don't feel romantic or sexual attraction, and you can be um it is possible to like someone romantically and sexually, like you want to kiss and f girls only, or you could like them only sexually. Like for example, you're arrow bisexual. Um, Bi curious. So this is a can of worms to open. You know you like the opposite gender, like you're hetero, but you are curious about it's basically what it seems. You are curious about the opposite. You are curious about like liking the same gender and that kind of stuff. Like you would just to try it out, do stuff, but you wouldn't want to. It's not like your key focus. You aren't completely sure of it. You're just curious about it at the time. In my opinion, the community is quite like most of us are quite supportive. We like to interact with each other. We understand most of the boundaries we have set and everything. Like it is a very supportive community. At least most of us are quite nice. If you get to know us, there are some who are more touchy or salty as more than others. And yeah, some people might view it wrong, like thinking we're peer pressuring straight people to be gay or whatever. That's not usually how it works. The good portion of us don't think that's fair, and it's just kind of illogical to peer pressure someone into liking the opposite gender if they don't want to, or pressuring someone to like the same gender if they don't. It's just stupid. And people might view it wrong, like they don't understand it, they don't get why. And just to clarify, it's not a disease, okay? This is not something like you can convince someone of. You're just you're not like, oh, guess what? You're a girl, right? Yeah, you like girls too now. No, 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 you don't like guys. You like girls too. That's not fair. It's not nice, and not all of us are like that. There are a few who do that, but they don't speak. Don't let them speak for the majority of us, because that's unfair, unjust, and you're being a hypocrite. Anyways, this is almost 15 minutes long. I don't think anyone's gonna listen. I'm just gonna, you know, stop it now. So that was my rant about sexuality. If you guys have any questions or have inquiries about anything, feel free to ask. I am part of the LGBTQ. Wait, LGBTQ plus community. Yes, there we go. That was hard. I have an asexual flag like pinned to my backpack, and a pride pin on my backpack. So I'm very happy about that. There was a table in my school for a pride club. It was really awesome. I mean, they had trans pins, they had pride pins, they had like communities you could reach out to like on social medias. They had stickers. I was hyped up. I raided that table like there was no tomorrow. I mean, so my one of my friends, Elliot, is trans, designated female at birth, but became a guy. Um, I don't really know how to say that. I'll get into trans later. I'll continue this rant part two. Like we'll go on to gender identification. So yeah. Um, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I might do a Q&A soon if anybody asks questions, and if there's enough to do one. Otherwise, I'll just yeah. And Okay, so there's two things that need to happen to do a Q&A. Like, it's one or the other. I need people to ask questions, or I'll just look them up if I get 50 subscribers. Anyways, I hope you all have a good Halloween. I know that's coming up like a few weeks. I don't care. It's fine. Don't judge. Um, and yeah, just have a good week. I know it's Sunday. It's getting pretty late. I'm going to edit this and upload it so we can all go on about our business. Yeah. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to my friend Plasma X Wolf's channel. He is a gamer. He plays R6, Ark, Fortnite, etc. Lots of cool stuff. He streams every so often and with guest stars. Matt, well, Ashy K, and Rig. Yeah, that's his name. And you'll see me in the comment section every so often, or in the live chat if it's turned on, that is. So, yep. I hope to see you, or hope to talk to you guys later, and feel free to ask questions. I know I've said this way too many times, but like and subscribe my channel for more music and more podcast episodes. I am sorry I sound so energetic. I'm actually dying inside. Yeah.